Morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for Career Conversations. I'd like to thank you and thank Joe Perez as well for joining us this morning. I am your host and your moderator. My name is Reese Perez. I am the CTE coordinator for Sequoia Grove, and I'd like to introduce Joe Perez, our resident firefighter. And the reason we're together this morning is this is actually my husband as well. So kind of handy. We were able to reschedule this meeting after some technical difficulties a couple weeks ago. So thanks for joining us for this encore presentation. And I'd like to start out by asking Joe to tell us a little bit about himself.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in here. So I work for the City of Roseville Fire Department, and I've been there 12 years, and I've been a firefighter for about 15 years, and I really love what I do. It's a fantastic job. I hope that we can get into some of the details here that will give you guys a good idea of what it's like to be a firefighter. But I'm currently 37, and I'm an engineer, so I drive the engine at Station 1.
Perfect. All right. So next question. How would you describe what you do?
So obviously the main job of the fire department is to put out fires, but we respond to any and basically all emergencies that are not police related, and even some of those we respond to. So we go to the fire station, and I'm there for 2 days, and within there we respond to basically anything anybody calls 911. So it could be a medical call, it could be someone having a heart attack. A lot of us are paramedics, most of us are paramedics. It could be anybody that gets hurt. Could be a traumatic injury, a car accident, fall off a bicycle, fall down a cliff. So we do rescues, rope rescues, rescue from confined spaces. We also have a hazmat team, so we would go to any hazardous material spills, radiological stuff, and we will go to anything where somebody cannot shut off their water at their house because they broke a sprinkler. So if you call 911, we will show up and we will help you out.
Love that. So you guys basically cover the breadth of A to Z. Anything that you need, you just call the fire department, and they've pretty much got you covered. So my next question, can you tell us about a day in the life and what that looks like?
Okay, well, since we respond to so many emergencies, you could probably guess that we have a ton of equipment on our fire engines. So we usually show up to work 30 minutes or more early. So my shift starts at 7. I usually get there at 6:30 or sooner. And usually the first thing that we do is get a pass down from our partner who we're relieving so they can go home. And it will tell us if there's any equipment issues or anything going on that we need to know immediately in the day. Then we have to check out all of our equipment, because in emergency situations, you cannot shore things up, last minute when you get on scene. Everything has to be dialed in. So you look at your breathing apparatus, look at all the tools on the engine, you make sure it's running, you make sure the brakes work, the tires, make sure everything's in good working order. So that's first thing in the morning. Then we kind of chat about what's going on for the day, and we run a lot of calls, but we usually train every day as well. So we generally do an hour or more of training. It's important to have a playbook. It's important to be well trained before you go on emergency. So look like you know what you're doing, or you're not. Just so train so you're a pro when you show up on scene. Or not, we cook all of our meals together, which is cool, and we have a good time. We all eat dinner together, we all eat lunch together, and we also get paid to work out. So we have a nice gym, which is one of the best things about my job is I get paid for an hour and a half a day to get in the gym, and that's one of the nice perks about it.
Love that. Staying in shape, you get paid to do that. And of course, you can't afford to have, any sort of catastrophes or be unprepared for situations that arise. So it makes sense that you have to, throughout your day, prepare for anything that might come up. So how did you get started in your career, and what were the requirements, the education, the skills that you needed to get going?
I got started just after high school, and I went to Sierra College. I started by going to EMT class and taking fire technology classes. So the education piece, most firefighters have at least a 2-year associate's degree, and then paramedic is about a year and a half of school also. So about 3.5 or so years of school. And then in there, I went to a firefighter academy with Sierra College, which is a 1 semester, but you get a lot of college credits. I think it's about 20 credits to go to the fire academy. Then that's pretty much all you need is a certificate in fire technology and an academy and a paramedic license.
Awesome. Okay. So can you tell us what you like and what you dislike about what you do?
Okay. It's a very rewarding job. You do get to help people, and you do get to be the hero at times, and you do really get to make a difference in people's lives, sometimes in life or death situations, which is incredible. It's really, really rewarding. I also like that I get to hang out with my bros all day. Like I love the guys I work with. There's 8 of us at the fire station where I'm at, and it's a super fun job. We joke around, we do everything together, which is fun. It's a very, very good team environment. We're incredibly good at working well together in pressure situations. So you can imagine that we're super close, which is cool. The camaraderie is exceptional. So those things I like. I also like that I get paid to be physically fit. So I love that I get paid to work out. That's awesome. One thing I don't like is running emergencies all night long, because if we run emergencies all night, we're not sleeping, and then doesn't matter the next day, we're still expected to perform and be at our best for another day or however long we're going to be at work. So that's the downside. Another downside is sometimes you miss holidays, birthdays, things like that, because you have to be at work.
Right. So I know that you mentioned being really close with the guys that you work with. Some of that has to do with the shifts that you work, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of shifts you work and whether or not you work every day of the week? What does that look like?
So we work a 56-hour work week is how it is. So most people work a 40. We do 56, which sounds like a lot, but we also get paid all night. So we work 48 hours straight, and then we have 4 days off. So it's about 2.5 days per week. When we're there for 48 hours, we have at my station, we actually have our own little bedroom. So we have our own little bed and locker that we sleep in when we're there. But yeah, that's it. It's called 4896. So 2 days on, 4 days off. It's a great schedule. You get some time off during the week. Sometimes you get weekends off. But it really, really allows you to have some free time, and you knock out your work week in 2 days, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it is definitely nice. One of the things that I will say as a family member of a firefighter is it's kind of hard to plan things around, just because, let's say they work Saturday, Sunday one week. Well, then they have 4 days off, and then it ends up kind of falling back a day the following week, where then they work Sunday. What is it, Sunday? So if we work Saturday, Sunday, then the next week we work Friday, Saturday, right? So it kind of falls back a day every week. So it is kind of hard to plan events and things like that around that, but it is a great schedule for families as well. Just because when they're home, they actually have 4 days home with their family, which is nice too. So speaking of time off, how much time off do you get to take every year aside from that 4 days off every week?
So one thing that's a little weird about the fire department is if you want a day off, you have to take 24 hours of vacation. So your vacation goes fast. We basically earn vacation like most other employees, just based on hours worked. So I think I earn about 11 hours a month. So it takes me almost 2 months to get a vacation day, but we also get, I think, 7 floating holidays. So since we are not allowed to take holidays off because the fire department's always going to be there 24/7, we get 7 holidays that we can take off during a year. So to answer your question specifically, it's about 13 days off, 12, 13 days off a year, which is a little over a month actually of vacation if you took, and we work 10 days a month. So yeah, you get a month off every year.
That's pretty nice. Actually, I've never really thought about it like that, but yeah. What is the common misconception about what you do?
One common misconception would be that all we do is go to fires. We go to many other emergencies. Fires is probably about 15% of what we do, and medical calls is probably 75%, maybe a little less. But that's common misconception. We actually do rescue cats out of trees, so that's not a misconception.
That's funny. Okay, last question before I open it up to you guys. What advice do you have for anyone looking to get into the fire service?
I think you got to be really willing to be a team player. Like if you really should be someone that likes team sports or likes working in a team, to consider in the fire department. And advice is just, I would say, get started, go on some ride-alongs, take a class, and see what you think. But yeah, I think I would try to go to ride-along, go to a fire station, see what we do on a daily basis. That would be my advice. See if you really like it.
How old do you have to be to start that?
I should know this. I think it's 16, but it could be 18.
Okay. And they could just come and if they were going to do a ride along with you, they just come for a couple hours? How does that work?
Yeah, we're flexible in the time frame.
Oh.
We have a public information officer at the city of Roseville that you can get a hold of on the city of Roseville website. There's also other fire departments around Sac Metro, Sacramento City, South Placer, depending on where you live. It's been a bit weird since the pandemic hit, whether or not we allow people in on our fire engines and our fire stations. I don't think we are still, but other places might. But still, you should be able to call somebody's public information officer, or PIO, or an education person at the fire department. They should hopefully be able to get a tour or ride along or something.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much for your time. At this time, if you guys have questions for Mr. Perez, I don't mind if you guys unmute yourself or if you type it in the chat, that's fine as well. We will make his time count for you guys. So go ahead and unmute and ask away. Nobody has any questions? Don't be shy.
Come on, we need at least one question.
Nobody? All right. Well,
Yeah, I had a
Max?
quick question.
Yeah, go
So is the 2 days on, 4 days off, is that the only shift that they have, or are there like other like shifts that you can work?
That's a good question. Some fire departments, like Cal Fire is actually where I started. They work 3 days on, 4 days off. So they end up working 12 days a month, really, instead of 10. They also get more time off though, so it's pretty comparable. But most fire departments are a 2 on 4 off. Some do what they call a Kelly schedule, which is it's 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 4 off. So it's really confusing. That's what a lot of fire departments used to do. Most do what we call the 2 on 4 off, 48-96. And then some do a 1 on 2 off. But we have that's the most prominent schedule. In most fire departments, you're going to work 10 days a month, with the exception of I think San Francisco only works 9. Those guys have a weird schedule. They're kind of their own deal. So city of San Francisco, yeah, work 9, and it's a little bit off. That's a great schedule. I really like it.
Luke asked, where did it go? How many people usually work at a station? I know he said that there are 8 firefighters, but are there any other workers?
Nice. Another great question. So at my station, we're at the biggest station in Roseville. So we have an engine, we have a truck, and a battalion chief. So on the engine, we have 3 guys. Some stations, all they have is an engine. So there's only 3 guys there, or gals, excuse me. There's always a firefighter, an engineer, and a captain. Firefighter is just like his job title says. Engineer drives and pumps. The captain is in charge. He rides shotgun. On the truck company, there's 2 firefighters, an engineer, and a captain. So there's 4. And then at my station, we have a battalion chief, and he's the guy in the usually in a Tahoe or a pickup is the chief. He's just by himself. He's a battalion chief. So some stations only have 3 guys. If there's an engine truck company, you might have 7. And if there's engine truck and battalion chief, you might have 8. So there's no other workers. Like we don't have a maintenance worker that comes in. We don't have office people. They're at a different building, an administration building with other city departments. We do all of our own cleaning and stuff like that. That's something we do every 2 days is we clean up the station before somebody comes in. We mop, we scrub toilets, we wipe down counters and all that. We make it tidy. So yeah, no other workers except for building maintenance guys that work for the city of Roseville that come and fix problems with the building like they would any other city building.
One of the things that I actually just learned recently was the difference between a fire engine and the fire truck, the ladder truck. Can you explain like the water pumping situation? Because that was one thing that I found super interesting.
Gotcha. So there's fire engines and fire trucks. A fire truck would be a ladder truck. So we have 5 engines for every ladder truck in the city, and that's pretty typical. Like it's about 4 to 1, 5 to 1. The fire engine is the smaller engine that you see. It'll have 3 guys on it and has 500 gallons of water, and it has a huge pump. So actually the 500 gallons of water, we can pump it out in 30 seconds if we wanted. That's how big and the capacity of the pumps are. So we really need a hydrant if we want to flow a lot of water, which is why we have huge hose and hook up the hydrants. The ladder truck doesn't have any water whatsoever. So it's big, it's huge. You see the guy driving the back of it, especially in Roseville, that's how our trucks are. It's 105, 110 foot or so reach on the ladder. And there's no water, no pump, no water. It has a ton of tools on it. It has all your rescue stuff, rope stuff, jaws of life, stuff to extricate people. That's kind of their specialty. And they chainsaws, other kind of saws, breaking and breaching equipment to get through concrete or steel, or they got all kinds of it's a huge toolbox and a giant ladder. That's about it.
All right. Well, I think that about concludes my questions. Does anybody else have any more questions before we sign off for the morning?
Can I say one more thing before we go?
Of course.
If you guys are looking for a career and you're like, I don't really want to sit at a desk all day, and I don't want to go to the same place and do the same thing every day, like fire department, it's it's a good wage. It's a great retirement. There's good benefits, and it's a really fun job most of the time. I love going to work. I love my job. You very rarely see a firefighter saying he doesn't like what he does. But it's really cool. We do something different almost every day. You're gonna see new things. You're gonna go new places. You're gonna have new stuff. So it's challenging. It's always ever changing, and yeah, it's really fun. So check it out if you guys are interested.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you, Mr. Perez, for your time and for serving our communities. And I think we're pretty much done. We're gonna wrap this up. And on that note, we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Oh,
Thank you,
Max, do you have a
guys.
question?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Take
See
care.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.